Now, Costa, who is widely acknowledged for leading and promoting the push for edible food on public land, was yesterday in Brisbane. He flew in to Perth at midnight this morning, and he flies back out tonight so that he can open up an expo on the Gold Coast. Words literally fail me about how to acknowledge that sort of commitment, so I'll just say thank you, Costa. You are amazing.
I didn't want him to talk me up too much. Oops. I didn't break the speaker then. I got that one too. I'll do this. Chris, thanks for the wonderful acknowledgement. It's great to be here in Perth and to be part of this momentum, I could call it. The fact that all of you people are here tonight rings very loudly between my ears, but I think the bells that you are ringing before your councillors and representatives is just fantastic. Not only citizens, but also all of the representatives that Chris mentioned. Thank you for being here from all levels of Parliament. There is a movement, there's no doubt about it. What you will hear from Carolyn and Duncan a little later is anecdotes and timelines and the story of probably the best urban growing food project in the country and the challenges and successes that it's faced. And it was interesting today, I was just explaining to someone, when we had breakfast, Caroline and Duncan and I were sitting there, and then Chris came and had a cuppa. It was a coffee. I can show you the photo just to prove this, that I'm not just in my own world of analogies. But the coffee left all of its stains along the side of the cup, and then he poured water in. And I was like, oh, and he was mid-conversation. I took his glass, I wanted to take a photo. Because as he poured the water in, the brown sediment from the coffee, the movement of the water came up, and it took the sediment off. The sediment stirred in the water became foggy. And I said, I think this sums up what's going on at the moment. We've got grassroots ground movement, but we've also got energy coming from the top. And sometimes when you get this sort of movement, you get suspended solids in the water, and it appears like you can't see. It appears sometimes like, oh, are we going the right way? Are we sure? Well, I can safely say that in any situation of change, you're always going to have doubts. You're always going to have the status quo wanting to drive fear-based doubt. But what I'm seeing here on the West Coast at the moment is a certain fearlessness, a certain clarity and ability to say, well, let's roll the dice. Because if we roll the dice, lo and behold, we might get something different. If we keep going with the current status quo, well, we may as well just put our heads down and march ever onward, but never face any children. Because I always say, if we put this before the court of children, how are they going to see us as adults? So that's what excites me the most, because believe it or not, it only takes in this grand nation of ours one council to roll the dice, to step sideways from the fear, to take one step back but put two forward and shimmy sideways and say, no, we're going to stand by this. We believe this. Let's make a change. And that's what's stuck out, because I know from Carolyn and Duncan's point of view and my point of view, going around the country and seeing where the fear steps in and where people get held up by the same OH&S and other insurance-based realities around anything to do with public space. If we keep going like that, I mean, we may as well just give up. Yet, what I'm seeing here with some of your councils is that you are really willing to drive change. And then, when we have the grassroots groups saying, let's just do it, let's go out and guerrilla, let's go mongrel, there's value in each level, and each and every one of you is playing a role in this process. And whether that's as a council officer facilitating the planting of new verges and driving a new guideline, whether it's driving a new policy, whether it's as the mayor or whether it's as a councillor saying this is what we want to propose and putting motions and bills forward, that is incredibly valuable. Whether it's the tree group saying, you know, this verge project, this public land, our land, how we deal with our land, whether it's about growing food on it, whether it's about growing food and biodiversity for our insects and our microbiology and our native animals and an overall ecosystem, whether it's about looking at a water retention basin as a rich biological and ecological service of nature that serves us and serves nature, whether it's the importance of trees and tree canopy. You know, I picked up some pretty basic stats. 15.8 million Australians who live in cities are being affected by excess urban heat, and that's only going to increase. What is the economic cost to our community? Approximately 300 million, and that's barely the start and finish of it. We need students, we need people doing papers and PhDs and research so that we can put the sort of value on this so that our representatives, be it at state or local or federal, you know, this is what that community garden that we opened today means in dollars and cents. For the economic rationalist argument, we need to be economic rationalists. Increased heat-related mortality, decreased property values, decreased work efficiency, decreased air quality. These are the things that just the trees bring. But then the gardens bring the community cohesiveness. The City of Perth, North Perth, the community garden that I visited today has the men's shed, the community, ethnic community group there, and the garden. This is bringing people together. The City of Bayswater's launch of the community garden today, driven by an 85 plus year old. Let's bear that in mind. It's not too late. I see a lot of youthful energy in here, and I see the momentum that this can bring to this movement. But at that garden today, you have a bowling green. Both of the projects I've just mentioned here today were bowling greens. Community hubs of a bygone era, still serving the same purpose. Valuable land within our communities, within our suburbs, that can bring us all back out and bring us back together again. The fact that the bowling club is open to the idea of a green going over to a garden, to another green going over to a roller derby, concrete roller derby, roller skating, bringing different youth there, bringing the elders through the shed, the men's shed, bringing the CWA, bringing the school kids, bringing the high school kids, bringing the repair cafes. There's so many layers that we can bring to this movement. And when council works with us and backs and supports this, when we don't fall down and pay homage at the gates of OH&S and fear and insurance, when we confront the insurance as City of Bayswater has done and said, we want reality, and the insurance have said, well, actually, there's no problem. Yet there's been this paradigm generated within this level of our community that says, oh, you can't do that. You can't have an elevated garden bed on the street. People will die. You know, and you can't have fruit on the street because, my God, someone will do a double cartwheel, back half twist, common edge style, and land on their head. You know, when there has been no insurance claims because there is no insurance issue, yet we've been held to ransom. All of you coming here today are saying, end the ransom. You are saying, let's be fair income about this. And what I love is it's not them against us. There are so many representatives here, many others willing to have been here but couldn't be here. But the number of you that are here today say that we're in this together. You're our representatives. You're not against us. You work within a framework that has developed a power and a weight of its own. It's time for us to reel that back. And the simplest way has been through a simple questions at one council to confront it and say, yes, we're rolling dices. And the more dices we roll, the more momentum this change will bring. I take away with me so much more than I have brought, because what you're doing here within your municipal opportunities will send shudders. This is tectonic for me. This is plate shifting. And we only need 1, 2, 3, barely, to change the momentum. So tonight's a wonderful opportunity to hear from some wonderful projects that are going on here. You are leading the way. You are fearless. All of you are fearless for being here, because you're saying, yeah, let's back this. And you're going to hear from the wonderful projects that are going on. And I'm really, really genuinely chuffed. I mean, normally I sleep on planes. I'm probably going to be like this all the way back, because I'm just going to be so excited that what's here is way beyond this room. Those tremors are already halfway across the Nullarbor. And every photo that's been taken today, every blog post, every Instagram post, every whatever that's going to come, every media story is going to rattle and reverberate around every corner of our nation. Rest assured, you are doing amazing things. And the fact that you are supporting and intermingled and representative of your representatives, that this is one big representative group, is what gives it the legs and the strength and the capacity to shift and shift mountains, as Dr. Seuss says. Today, or this moment, is the time.